The system. Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Gaming the System, the podcast where three intersectional feminists examine gaming and games through a feminist lens. Today I am your host Matt, and I'm joined by my friends Alex and Jem. Before we get started, if you want to support us, you can subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/gamingthesystem for some exclusive content, or you can send us a one-off donation via PayPal to our email address wearegamingthesystem@gmail.com. So, today this is our first session recording back in January, and we're going to take this opportunity to talk about some of the good things that we've got going on, that we've had going on over Christmas, and that are going to be going well going forward, which is our gaming lives. The Christmas period can often be a wonderful time to get stuck into gaming, whether it's gaming solo or gaming with family, and we just want to have a chat about what we've been doing, and then we'll move on to what games we're looking forward to in the coming year. So I think we'll fly by the seat of our pants and see how we go. Jem, what have you been gaming over Christmas?
Oh, so I played some Expedition 33, and I was determined to reach the end of it over Christmas. However, there was a bug in one of the areas that I went into, and it just really annoyed me because I would be in the middle of a fight, and halfway through the fight, everything just stopped. It didn't freeze. It wasn't a crash. The fight stopped. So the animation was still going, but I couldn't do any actions. And this happened a couple of times, and I managed to work out things that were triggering it. So I was like, if I kill all of these things before we get to that point, then I can get through the fight. And then in another situation, I managed to run around the fight to get where I needed to go and just kind of dodge the whole fight completely. And then I got to a section where I think I needed to go, and I did the fight 3 times and had the same bug happen 3 times. And it was in the Frozen Heart area zone, and I looked online, and there was basically people saying, this is a bug, we know about this, and nothing's been done about it. So it just really put me off because I was kind of in the zone, and then suddenly I just had this kind of hitting this brick wall. And so I messaged you, Matt, and said, had you experienced this when you've been playing? And you said, no, you hadn't. I don't know. I suspect you just didn't go to this particular zone, or maybe you just got lucky.
Or maybe it was because it was 6 months ago, or it feels like it was eight months ago since you first told me that you were playing it. And I went, I'll see if I can catch up. And then I found out very luckily that you hadn't got to the midway point bit. So I didn't go, oh my God, do you remember this bit when this person died?
Yeah, so I'm a bit annoyed about it because it just kind of put me off. But I will go back to it because it is an awesome game. And now that I know that it's probably just that area, I'll just avoid that area and move on to something else. So that's good. So the other game that I've been playing is ENS Shrouded, which I've dropped into with Daniel, and we're playing it together, and it's a survival game. And this is really exciting because Daniel and I never played these co-op survival games before, and we started with Valheim and really enjoyed Valheim until we got to a bit where it just got insanely difficult, and then we were like, no. And ENS Shrouded is so much fun. It is also in beta, as is Valheim. Just seems like all these games just go into never-ending beta, and but we are really enjoying it, and it's very pretty. It's so pretty, and it's just nice to run around in it. And it's basically, the world is this sort of a very empty world with just monsters and people, like bad people, like monster people that come at you with weapons. And you kind of wake up in a sort of almost like Baldur's Gate style way. You wake up in a weird sarcophagus thing and hop out into the world, and you have nothing. So you're making everything and building everything from scratch. And there are these areas where they are enshrouded with this weird, misty, spooky stuff, and you'd love it because it's all about like mushrooms.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like mycelium. Anyway, that growing there, and there's these kind of very Last of Us style zombie type creatures. So, but it's fun. It's pretty. And last night we were playing, and we just basically were running around. And my daughter was actually just watching at the time, and we were sort of actually running away from a village where we were getting trounced, and suddenly came across this massive hole in the ground, and we were like, "Whoa, what's?" And even my daughter was like, "Are you gonna go in it?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, but we have to go in there." We had to go to bed, so we'll go in there later tonight. But it's just fun when you find things like that. And then I've got one more one that I'm playing, just because I am playing it obsessively at the moment, and that is Cozy Grove, which I've got on the Switch, and it's just like dailies. So I replaced my Merge games with this.
Yeah.
And it's just so nice. And I just run around and I talk to funny little ghost bears, and I do silly quests where I'm picking up, shells and fish and things. And it's just it's very harmless, very sweet. But it's quite witty, and it has a lot of sort of anti-capitalist messages going on. So there's like a wolf type bear, a bear wolf, who is a banker, an ex-banker, and he's created this wolf coin, and he's a dodgy dealer. And then I've just come across another guy who's like a conspiracy theorist, and he lives in this like guarded area where he's like got all this barbed wire. And one of the things you can do in the game is you can say to the bears, "Would you like a hug?" And they almost always say, "Yes, please." And then you have a nice little hug. It's very sweet. And I said that to the conspiracy theorist. He's like, "No." And so it's quite witty for a cozy, cute game. So that's what I've been doing, basically, those 3 games over Christmas. And I didn't complete anything, so I'm sorry, Matt, but I will get there eventually.
Yeah, it's good because you've got 3 different kinds of games on the go, which I think is it's something that's worth, especially for me, prioritizing, because my habit is to find a really, really long game and then just do that until for like a stupid amount of hours, and then I'll panic when I'm near the end of that and find another one. But having now, I've spent a lot of time gaming with Mum and Megan over Christmas. So I've got gaming with other people on the go. I've got my massive long pair of games that I've had over Christmas has been The Outer Worlds 2, which is a masterpiece, absolute masterpiece. I played it, I think it was 2 or 3 times for probably 120 hours overall. And the writing in it is just flawless satire, absolute flawless. I took at least 500 screenshots of the writing throughout it, and then it's taken me another month to catalogue all of those things, because the writing is so good, and it completely ticks my anti-capitalist box in just all of it. Every single step of the way is just that's just, you know, when something puts something into words in the perfect way, the perfect thing in the perfect way, and it just does that over and over and over again. So I can't recommend that enough. And then after that, I've been playing the Dishonored games. Have any of you played the Dishonored games?
No, I have not, but I know them relatively well, having listened to the soundtrack at least, and I've seen lots of clips and watched documentaries on them. So, yeah.
It made me think of you, Jem, because you said you liked playing Thief.
Oh, yeah.
And it seems like that.
They're quite similar in that way.
Yeah, it seems like it's one of the original, like, stealthy, sneaking through place things. And it's actually a billion times better than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a bit just unsophisticated because it's a bit of an older one, when it is actually it's less sophisticated because it's the prototype for so much of stealth gameplay like nowadays. And so I played through. It's really interesting because you can play through and not kill anyone, or you can play and get you can play through and kill everyone, and you get a completely different like story based on which of them. So that's just a perfect like reason to play things through twice. And so played the first one twice, played the DLCs for it twice, and that was really good. And then it was one of those games that was split. The development was split between two console generations, because the first one was in PS3, and PS3 was very hit or miss when it came to graphical quality, because the console was quite non-user friendly to be developing things for. So you can make a good game, it just didn't look as good as it could. But then, that was like with the Batman Arkham games as well. They're incredible games, but they didn't look amazing. But then you swap from PS3 to PS4, and then all these studios went, oh, now we can finally make the game look the way that we've wanted to. And so the Dishonored 2 looks like as high an upgrade. I don't think it's possible to be as high an upgrade as the Batman Arkham games, going from the first two to Arkham Knight. But it's just, again, that felt like a period of time where a studio would make a great game, and then you'd be excited for the next one they were going to do because you knew it was going to be even better to that. And it is both nice and sad going back to seeing that, because these were the first two games of Arcane Studios, and now Arcane Studios did a Rocksteady thing, and they have just annihilated themselves because they did Redfall, which was a vampire game that was just completely went the way of Suicide Squad. And these two awesome companies, you go, oh, I wonder what they'd be doing. Wonder what they'll be doing in 15 years. Oh yeah, they'll be completely dead and gone and screwed. I've got more games to go through, but Alex, what have you been playing?
So I'm not sure really. So I was a bit poorly before Christmas, and one of the games I played to help me feel a bit better and just have a bit of a relaxing time was on the Nintendo Switch, which I don't mention we got a Switch. It was a little earlier last year from a lovely friend who was happening to buy themselves a Nintendo Switch too.
Oh, yes, you benefited from the upgrade. I love that.
We did indeed. So I was having a look on the store and spotted a bargain. It was Sherlock Holmes Crimes and Punishments for like £3 or something ridiculous. I was like, I really enjoy Sherlock Holmes, let's go for it. And you get various different cases. You get to kind of play as Sherlock, and sometimes other characters, but mainly Sherlock. And it's your classic find the clues, examine all the people, do like studies of them and stuff, and ask them questions, interrogate them, and then you end up picking a suspect and deciding the outcome of the case and solving the case. And you can go wrong. So you can choose an answer and it will end up being incorrect. Or you could accuse the wrong person of the crime if you don't find all the clues. Very much the same vein as LA Noire, but with a little less violence in it. And it's been very enjoyable. Very much enjoying it. But it's definitely shown its age in that the controls could be a little less clunky. They're a little bit difficult to navigate and things. And some of the puzzles are just like really confounding. Luckily you can skip. You can choose to skip pretty much anything if you don't fancy it, which is good. But my favourite part, which I think they've melded in with the TV series with Benedict Cumberbatch, I don't know if you've ever watched that, but when he would scan people, initial words would pop up to them. You get to do that in the game. You kind of follow a track from one side of the person down to the other. You can do it multiple times, and you have to kind of pause over a certain bit of their face, and it will say, well, they've got wrinkles, and then you could deduce something from that or whatever. And then there's like a mind palace section where you get to do your deductions, which is really fun as well. But it's all set in the right period of time, i.e. The time that Sherlock was alive in Victorian London as a fictional character, obviously. And Dr. Watson there as well. You also get to see Toby the Bloodhound. He gets to do a little bit of investigating as well, which is really fun. But no, it's just a very sort of chilled out, relatively low stakes unless you want to get everything correct. Sort of interesting puzzles and, you know, a little bit of a brain scratcher to amuse myself while I was recovering. So yes, I've got one more case left to do on that one, I think. And then the other things that I was playing, I got Ghost of Yote for my birthday. So we're hoping to jump back into that very soon. We kind of put a pause on it over Christmas because we just have different things going on. But very much enjoying that one so far, and very, very much enjoyed Ghost of Tsushima. So definitely enjoying that one and looking forward to actually progressing with it because we haven't really moved out of the first area just yet. Sticking with the Japanese theme, we got gifted a board game called Tokaido. I don't know if you've heard of it, Jem, but basically the goal is to just spend your time travelling the famed Tokaido Road, which is along the east seas of Japan, and just having the best time you possibly can. And if you have the best time, you get to win. So you get to do things like visit hot springs, try new food, and paint landscapes. And whoever does the most of that essentially wins. So it's quite a nice, wholesome idea for a competition between yourself and the other players.
Love that.
It's really nice.
That,
It's
yeah.
really lovely, and the art style is really lovely. And all the different, there's like a good handful of different characters you can choose to kind of be your character, and they have different skill sets and strengths. So mine, I think, had an extra chance of getting a certain type of card when you landed on a certain space, to give you more of a certain thing, because you can buy items from shops as well to learn about the culture. And yeah, there's loads of really nice things, but it's very much tied into a lot of things that we discovered when playing Ghost of Tsushima and Ghost of Yote. So it's basically a very, very Japanese cultural experience, which is very fun. And then the other board game that we played, if I remember correctly, has escaped my mind, but it will come back. Oh, it was another gift, actually. A card game, Deck of Wonders, which is a type of game I've not played before, really. It's kind of where you are playing the card, and it's really difficult to win. It's one of those situations where you're battling against the enemy, quote unquote. So you're moving all the cards around, but the enemy has their own set of decks, and you have to defeat them by using the deck that you've got in play. And it's very challenging, but we did manage to beat it for the first time over Christmas. And you get to unlock sort of legacy packs as you achieve certain things through the rounds. So we've got plenty of those left to unlock and lots of different enemies to fight as well. So we're quite looking forward to that one. But it's pretty much... oh, and I've forgotten to mention Plucky Squire. That's another thing. That's the one I played over Christmas as well, which is absolutely lovely. A very charming game. It came out, I think, on PS, I want to say PS4, possibly it was only PS5. But it's like a storybook, essentially a narrative adventure. Well, that's what you think when you start out. You play the Plucky Squire, and you're sort of in this sort of illustrated style. You're going along 2D, and then eventually you realise you can come out of the book and turn 3D and explore the desk and the world where Sam, who is the author and illustrator of the book, has created you, and you get to explore his desk and fight the evil wizard Humgrub from inside the book. And it's just really, really charming and really fun. And it does some unexpected things, but I definitely recommend it. It's probably about 10 hours-ish. It's 10 chapters, essentially. And it was so fun. It was really good. There's lots of really interesting combat scenarios as well. I say combat, I mean it in the lightest of terms. You can kind of play on a really easy pared down mode, or you can play it at more difficult. But some of the boss battles are really interesting as well. So I definitely recommend it. It's very fun. Yeah.
It reminds me of the fabulous, I think it's a side quest from Split Fiction, where it's side to side when you're in a storybook. That was really cool.
So good. So good. Yeah.
It was brilliant.
Oh, I want to play that myself now. I've only watched people play it. I want to talk about my gaming with people that I'm well underway with now, and I'm finding to be the reasons to do it, that there are people worth playing with, and realizing that. And I've been playing Baldur's Gate 3 with my mum, and that has been tremendous fun. We've been recording ourselves doing it as well, and it was my mum's birthday last week, so I made a compilation video of the two of us. A couple of things. Yeah, it was wonderful. Just tremendous fun. And we've just been playing Until Dawn with me, mum and Megan, and it's hysterical, absolutely hysterical. Twice my mum has screamed at the top of her lungs at jump scares, and I've had twice, and because I one of them, the latest one, I knew it was coming, and so I was sat there. I was ready for it. The first time, they've both they're both singers, so they've got very powerful voices, very true voices as well. They're very, like a shard of glass rather than like a slap, like most normal singers. So the first time I wasn't ready, and it felt like I'd gotten stabbed in both my ears from it. But fortunately for the second time, I was ready, and somehow it didn't hurt my ears. It's a pleasant surprise.
The win.
And then also, which is wonderful, my mum has been playing games on her own for the first time, and been enjoying that. She's been playing Alan Wake 2 for a while.
That's super.
Yeah, it's awesome, and I'm so it brings me joy that my mum and my sister game now.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and if you can talk your families into people who wouldn't otherwise game, like video game, do it, try it, and it's a wonderful gift to impart to people. So playing Until Dawn, and then the most surprising thing is that my sister Megan, for probably 6 months now, her game has been Fortnite. She's been a Fortnite junkie. That's been the game that she's spent by far the most time playing, and she plays it like most days a week. And we have been teaming up and gaming together and doing Fortnite. I can't remember if I mentioned this before, but our first ever game, we won both of them. We won 2 games in a row. Our first ever ones. And we have been continuing playing together. And we've set it up so Megan, we don't have to both be on the PS5. I can be in my room and she can be in the conservatory, and we can be playing together and talking over Discord. And I've been so we stream most of the time. When we game together, we stream it because it's just fun, and I love having records of it. And that's just a lovely thing to do with the family, and that you don't have to, which is what I worried about, having to restrict yourself to simpler games. So board games and card games, they can be very fun, but they are simple compared to just the skill, because it's a dexterity, a physical skill to be able to do it. It's like driving. You need to just do it and do it and do it and do it before you can start like properly having fun with it. But it can be done. Right, we've got a couple of minutes left. Let's run through some games that we're looking forward to coming out this year. Gem.
Okay, so I went into this like hard because I don't normally know what's coming up. So today I've spent quite a lot of time looking. So I haven't got time to go through most of what I was looking at. However, what I did want to say is that I looked at the big games that are coming out and lots of top 10s, lots of like, what's everyone really excited about. And none of it really appealed to me at all, which was kind of depressing. There were a couple, and I think at least one of them Alex might have on her list, but Resident Evil Requiem was the one that kind of like came up most for me. But it's so violent. I mean, really, I know obviously Resident Evil is violent, but it's really gory, and I just don't know if I want that in my life right now. I just feel a bit kind of like, I don't know. I mean, it looked really good. It looks amazing. It looks really interesting. The gameplay style looks fascinating. You're playing 2 characters, Leon, and I can't remember what the female character's called. So that looked really interesting. And they were saying there's quite a big difference between the play style for those 2 characters. So with Leon, it's very combat orientated and like
kicking
lots of
things.
Fighting and kicking people in the head and doing all sorts of really cool stuff. So you can pick up weapons that they've dropped and shoot them with those weapons. You can shoot them in the legs, then they'll fall down. It's really amazing the stuff that they've done. And with the female character, she's more sneaky, and it looked more like the old school Resident Evil that I remember playing and enjoying. So that looked really cool. It very spooky looking. Everything looked really scary. They've got all these kind of things that you can do, putting filters over, and they've got city scenes. They've got just a lot going on in the game. But like I said, it was really violent, like very violent. And Also, they've apparently partnered up with Porsche to create a car, like a cool car for use in the game. And obviously they've then built that game. And they've also teamed up with Hamilton watches to make the watches that the characters wear in the game. And they're going to be selling those on the launch day. Now, I know that this is like the 30-year celebration for Resident Evil, but it just felt really money grabbing to me. It just felt a little bit.
It was like to me.
Yeah. It just felt like, do they need this extra? Do they need these sort of party ups in order to actually make enough money, or are they just getting greedy?
It reminds me of the trailer for Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet. Do you remember that? Where there was like a Lego every 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Of like Pepsi and then a couple of other things as well. It's like the modern James Bonds as well. They're just chocked full of like Land Rovers and
product placement
everywhere.
Yeah. I don't.
Yes, I don't like it.
No. I don't like the idea of them bringing that stuff in, but I don't know. Maybe that's the future. Maybe it's just the way we're going. But I don't like it. It's just too hardcore capitalism. So I was looking through the Fable 2026 came up. That looks amazing. I am excited about that, but I'm not very excited because I think it might not come out until 2027, because they're basically going to do an announcement 2 days ahead of where we are now. So in 2 days' time, we'll know more about when Fable's coming out and what's going on with it. So, but that looked exciting. But where I really got my interest from was all the indie games. I just watched a video of like the top 50 indie games that are coming out in 2026, and almost all of them I would have given, at least a double take to. They just look really interesting. So the ones that I've kind of like flagged up was Witchbrook, which is like a little cozy life sim where you're at school. It's basically by the same. Well, it's not made by the same people who make Stardew Valley, but it's made by the same publishers, I think. So it's something to do with them anyway. And so that looked like fun. And then there's also Paralives. Have you heard about this? It's like basically they're talking about it being a genuine alternative to The Sims.
Ooh.
And it basically focuses on open-ended creativity. So it's all building and families and relationships and all of that. But it just looks really like fun and sweet. And it's not as, the characters look more drawn than the Sims characters, but I think you would get into it after a while. But so the graphics is quite different, but then you've got this sort of really cool sandbox setup and everything. So that felt like that might be fun. There's just loads of indie games that just look like they would be a happy way to while away a few hours. I just know that I'm not going to have any hours in a few months. That's going to be it. It's my gaming over. So most of these games I'll probably have to be playing next Christmas. But yeah.
Yeah, that's a wonderful thing. A good thing about the system as it is at the moment is that we are in a renaissance of indie games, and that scene is only going to continue to grow, but it does mean that, well, we can think of it like books now. There are more books than there have ever been in history, and those numbers are increasing more and more and more. It makes it harder to succeed as an indie developer just because of the sheer number of games that are being released. But they're not all £80, so you can buy 5 indie games for the cost of one AAA game and get more value out of them than you would a new AAA game. Yeah, Alex, what are you looking forward to?
I think you can both guess which of the biggest game that I'm looking forward to is, and that is Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis, which hopefully should be coming out this year for the 30th anniversary of Tomb Raider, the original Tomb Raider. Very excited, very excited. We did get a double trailer, so we have that game coming out in 2026, and in 2027 we'll have Tomb Raider Catalyst, which will be a continuation of the Survivor trilogy meshed in with what they're doing now, which is remaking, well, hopefully remaking the original trilogy, because no one's ever remade Tomb Raider 2, and that's all I want. They never have. We obviously have Anniversary, which was as the name implies, the anniversary of Tomb Raider. I think 25, maybe 10. Wait, no, 25. I want to say 25 years, maybe 20. Actually, that would make more sense. But anyway, so those two are coming up, and I think they're like concurrent trilogies. I would like to hope so. I'm very excited because Tomb Raider Catalyst features probably the oldest Lara we've seen portrayed. She had a little bit of grey in her hair. She looked a little older. She sounded a little older. And the voice actress that is going to be portraying Lara is Alex Wilton Reagan. Do we know her? Because I can name some games that she's been in and you probably played.
I remember. Our Assassin's Creed Origins.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She
yes.
plays my ex-wife, which you wouldn't think that she does. She's also the voice of Samantha Trainer in Mass Effect 3, which you might know. The female Inquisitor in Dragon Age Inquisition. And Callista in The Last Story as well. So there's a few notable performances for you. So I'm just very excited. Having watched the trailers, I watched some deep dives as well. And there's some very deep analysis of maybe the move sets that you see in the trailers kind of being not too dissimilar from the way that Lara moves and navigates the world in the Survivor trilogy. So there's some debate as to whether they've actually changed the control scheme that much. And there was a lot of nods to some of the controls of Anniversary. Like there's a scene where obviously Lara is shooting one of the raptors and she's jumping back and kind of shooting, leaning backwards. And that was a very well-known move in Tomb Raider Anniversary, where it was like a slow motion target and shoot, which a lot of people did not like, and I did not like it either. But so we'll see what happens. I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful. I'm just very excited that there's going to be more Tomb Raider in my life, as you can tell. But yeah, I just think it should be. I hope they do a good job because it's 30 years is a long time. Obviously, I've grown up with it. I am now effectively the age of Lara. As older Lara, most probably, I would say she'd probably in her, I want to say 40s in Catalyst, but I don't know. I have yet to find out. So that'd be really interesting to think about as well, because obviously I started when I was about 6 or 7 years old. But yeah, just very excited. And then the other game, technically, which came out last year, is a crowd-funded board game that we're looking forward to playing, which arrived with us in 2026. So I'm counting it as a game that is yet to be played this year because I haven't played it yet. And it's called Manatee Sanctuary. Manatees are my favourite sea creature in the ocean. And the goal of the game is to save all the manatees by making sure you build a sanctuary for them and make sure they stay fed, otherwise they'll swim away, which is the concept of the game. So I'm very excited for that. And you get little wooden manatees that you collect, and they're all different colours. So I'm very excited for that as well.
I want to do I have a lot to say about the Lara Croft stuff as well. So I'll gladly do a deep dive with that.
For sure.
About that, just because seeing Lara, those two trailers, you go, that feels like the Lara Croft that should have happened directly, because we had the Lara Croft and then the Survivor Lara Croft, and then this one. And they're thinking, why didn't you do this directly after that? It feels like they've shot themselves in the foot, because there. Good things and bad things to say about it. My stuff is it's just a couple of I don't pay much attention to upcoming indie games because you just never know what they're going to be like. So like I never, there could be what the equivalent of Expedition 33 is going to be this year. I have no idea what that's going to be until it comes out because no one knew anything about that before. But we've got the new James Bond game made by the developers of Hitman. I think that's going to be awesome. Then Neo 3, which might be pretty good. Then Phantom Blade Zero, which is sort of like another samurai assassin-y game that's been like in development for ages. Then I don't know if it's coming out this year. It would be really awesome if it did. But the new Hideo Kojima horror game, Knock, which I don't know if you've seen the trailer before, but it's just horrifying. It's like, so they're the ones that made, he's the one that made PT. And this just feels like he's gone, okay, I've taken all the horrifying ideas that I had then and I've turned them up to 11 and they're making just someone banging on a door terrifying. So that'd be really cool. But what I'm looking forward to the most is actually a game from last year, which is Death Stranding 2 coming out on PC. And there isn't an estimated release date for that yet, but I am looking forward to that when it hopefully comes out. We will bring that to a close then. Thank you.
Before you stop, can I just ask, have either of you heard about the Assassin's Creed Black Flag remake?
Yes, they're remaking it.
They were talking about that might be coming out
quite soon, I think. Yes. They've got rid of the future element, though. They completely cut it.
That was one of the better ones.
That's what I thought.
It was a game development studio.
Yeah, I really liked it. I liked that it was first person. I liked the puzzles in it and the mystery that you were kind of solving in that area as well. I'm kind of sad about that, but I guess not everyone liked it. I don't know. But yes, and I think they've added in some RPG elements into Black Flags a little bit more, maybe. But I have to look into it because I haven't heard much more about it. But yeah, I think I want to say March time, but it could be later. No, I can't off the top of my head. But yeah,
fingers crossed on that.
Yeah, that's enough.
But they are also developing another game, Assassin's Creed Hex, spelled Hexe, that's set in the Holy Roman Empire in Germany, with a female protagonist, a standalone female protagonist, which is like, is it the first time they've done a female on her own? Can't remember, apart from that one DLC.
Yeah, just a DLC.
Yeah. So it should be interesting.
I've heard worrying things about that Assassin's Creed Hex thing because it sounds like that's their Assassin's Creed Forever plan, where rather than making a new game each year, they'll go, this is Assassin's Creed Forever, and we'll just put out DLC for it forever.
Yeah,
but maybe that's wrong. Maybe I've heard wrong. Any last thoughts? Right, we bring it to a close. You know where to find us. We are going strong into our 6th year, and we hope you enjoy the ride along with us. And so until next time, bye-bye. We hope you enjoyed that episode of Gaming the System. If you want to support us, you can donate to us through our PayPal by sending it to wearegamingthesystem@gmail.com if you want to send us a one-off donation. If you want to donate to us monthly, you can subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/gamingthesystem. Until next time, bye-bye.